What's up, guys? Corey Erdman here in the Fight Network studios, getting you up to date on everything in the world of boxing. And James DeGale isn't going to sit around and wait for a UK super fight with Carl Froch any longer. DeGale now has a bout scheduled on the November 22nd undercard of Nathan Cleverly Tony Bellew against former title challenger Marco Antonio Periban. DeGale is already the mandatory for Froch's IBF super middleweight title after an impressive stoppage of Brandon Gonzalez this past May. However, with a Froch fight not exactly imminent, he decided not just to keep busy, but risk his mandatory spot against a very formidable opponent. Periban will represent one of the toughest tests of his career, despite the fact that he's winless in his past 3 outings. The 30-year-old has given good performances against J. Leon Love, Badu Jack, and Saki Obika, but didn't have his hand raised each time. Chunky, the ring's number 5 rated super middleweight, is very much a polarizing figure in the UK and has been ever since his gold medal days at the Olympics. While he's certainly a big name, he would likely play the role of the heel against Froch, much like he did in his lone career loss against George Groves. For whatever reason, the majority of the fans in his homeland prefer to boo him. DeGale Periban will serve as a de facto second eliminator and also allow Periban a chance to get back into contention again and not just slide into official gatekeeper territory. Well, it's time for Ola Afolabi's annual crack at a cruiserweight title, as the 4-time challenger has signed on to face Ring Magazine and IBF champ Johan Pablo Hernandez in Germany on December 6th. Afolabi gets a crack at Hernandez, as he is the IBF's highest-rated contender who is actually available to fight, and Hernandez has to meet a mandatory requirement before year's end. For the past 4 years, he's fought on even terms with Marco Huck, but was never able to get a victory, coming away with 2 losses and a draw. The knock on Afolabi has always been his conditioning and his ability to sustain a given pace for 12 rounds. He's a very talented boxer with the ability to fight in a variety of different styles, from a slick counterpuncher to a full-on pressure fighter. The one constant has been the need to do less of whatever it is that he's doing as the rounds go on, which was even evident last November against Lucas Janik. In Hernandez, he faces a legitimate but seemingly vulnerable champion. Hernandez has fought nothing but serious contenders since entering the title picture, but has come dangerously close to losing against Steve Cunningham, Troy Ross, and Firat Arslan. Now, many felt that Arslan out-hustled him in his last bout, in which he himself drew criticism for his own conditioning. It might be a perfect matchup for Afolabi to finally win something other than an interim world title, the lineal cruiserweight title, and then probably set up a 4th fight with Marco Huck. And lastly, there's a world title fight sitting on the schedule that may or may not actually happen. WBC super flyweight champion Carlos Cuadras is scheduled to face former lineal flyweight champ Sonny Boy Jaro on November 13th, a Thursday night, in Washington, D.C., with no venue yet announced. This is a new date after Cuadras was cut in sparring, delaying a previously scheduled date, which also had no venue attached to it. His promoters confirmed to Boxing Scene this week that the fight is still scheduled to take place, but without a home a month out, this one seems like it could be in danger of getting the axe. Now, if it does happen, this will mark the 2nd defense of the WBC title for Cuadras, who upset champion Srisaket Sorungvasai via technical decision earlier this year. Though Srisaket was deducted a point thanks to the WBC's very unusual accidental headbutt rule, the scoring through 8 rounds seemed perfectly fair. Now, Jaro might have scored the upset of the decade in 2012 when he defeated Pongsaklek Wanjong Kam to become the Ring Magazine flyweight champ. But after a gritty loss to Toshiyuki Igarashi in his first defense, he hasn't looked the same, dropping a decision to a sub-500 fighter in the Philippines and scoring easy wins against overmatched journeymen ever since. Cuadras will effectively have an older, smaller, slower version of Srisaket in front of him in whatever venue they turn up in. That about does it for this boxing update. For more on the sweet science, log on to FightNetwork.com and follow us on Twitter @FightNet.